Hello everyone. Today's topic of our lecture is topographic features of the head and neck and operations on the head and neck. First of all, we speak about the regions of the head. We can divide our head basically into two regions. It is a facial region and a cranial vault. Cranial vault we divide into small regions as a frontal parietal occipital region, temporal region is a paired region, we have two temporal regions, and mastoid region, also paired region. The border between the facial region and the cranial vault is a line that passes through the supraorbital margin, zygomatic arc, and external acoustic meatus. Here it is, you can see this line, shown in the red color, supraorbital margin, zygomatic arc, external acoustic meatus. This is a facial region, and this one is the cranial vault. Okay, features of the frontoparietal occipital region. Now, there is some features that different from structure of other regions. Head is very interesting region at all, and if we take a look on the layer by layer structure on the head and compare, for example, with extremities or neck or thorax, will be very interesting differences. First of all, as always, first layer we have a skin with hair or without hair, just as you like. Here it is skin. Under skin we have a subcutaneous fat, and basically we have no fascias here. All fascias growing to each other, and with the aponeurosis, there are no muscles here, there are only aponeurosis, aponeurotic flap, and make it, here it is an aponeurotic layer, cranial aponeurosis. All of these three layers, skin, subcutaneous fat, and aponeurosis, binding to each other with such fascicles. And now all these three layers we can call with one word, scalp. This is a scalp. What is a feature of this scalp? You know, in other regions, all main arteries, magistral arteries, locates deeply, locates in some sulcus between the muscles, in some intermuscular spaces, in the cellular spaces. Here, on the head of the frontoparietal occipital region, we have a main magistral artery just inside the subcutaneous fat, not just here. Artery, big veins, all of this stuff we have in the subcutaneous layer. And also another feature, these arteries walls or these blood vessels is also binds strictly, tightly binds to these fascicles. That's why if there is a patient with an injury of the soft tissues of the head, just superficial, just skin and subcutaneous fat, not deep wound, but always will be profuse bleeding. Why? Because in the subcutaneous fat we have magistral blood vessels, because we have very many anastomoses between these arteries and this layer, and because of these bindings to the fascicles. So this artery is always open and always bleeds. And very complicated to apply a clamp on it. We cannot separate it from surrounding tissues. We need to use special clamps and special techniques to stop this bleeding. But I will tell you later about it. Okay, below the aponeurosis we have a subaponeurotic tissue, subaponeurotic head. After that we have a periosteum, and below the periosteum we have a subperiosteal fat. This fat presents only in the frontoparietal occipital region. And after the subperiosteal fat we have a bone. Bone has three layers, two compact layers and one spongy layer. External compact layer, internal compact layer, and between them we have a spongy substance that's called deep layer. Deep layer. What's about a deep layer? Deep layer also contain the veins, the blood vessels, not arteries, veins. And these veins, in case of injury, could be bleeding from the diploic veins. What's about the internal layers? After the bone, we have a dura mater. Between the bone and dura mater, we have a narrow, very, very narrow slit-like space. It is called epidural space. Epidural space. Behind the dura mater, we have a subdural space. Subdural space. And in case of bleeding, it could be epidural hematoma or subdural hematoma, according to this location. By this black color shows the venous sinus of the dura mater. What does it mean, venous sinus? Venous sinuses is not the only sinus. There are many sinuses. It's making the venous outflow from the brain. So it's not blood vessel. It's just splitting of the dura mater, but it's making a venous outflow from the brain. It has connection by the emissary veins with the diploic veins and superficial veins. Here it is. What is the methods of stop of the bleeding from the scalp? No, there are different methods, and basically, what is the first method? If it is bleeding and you wanna to evaluate what is the wound, you should to stop bleeding with occlusion with the fingers. How we can do this? Imagine that patient has a wound in the center, so you take in your hands and just pressing around this wound. It will be occlusion with the finger. By this method, you can stop the bleeding temporarily. What else? Squeezing the scalp with the hemostatic clamps. You know also, you cannot, as I told you before, you cannot apply a clamp on separate blood vessel. You should squeeze all scalp. Nowadays, there is such special plastic clips that we just apply on the scalp. It's squeezing all soft tissues and squeezing the blood vessels located inside of this tissue. And also you can apply hemostatic stitches, hemostatic sutures. What is now we have the clamps, so hemostatic sutures not applied. What is the meaning of hemostatic suture? Hemostatic suture is just suturing of all soft tissues till the bone. And every knot, when we tie this knot, It's also squeezing the soft tissues, and this soft tissue is squeezing the blood vessels that are inside them. What are the methods of a bleeding stop from the diploic veins? Now, when the patient has a wound, the wound has a penetrating wound with a damaging of the bones and with a damaging probably of the dura mater, how we can stop the bleeding from the diploic veins. We can apply special sterile wax. We can squeeze the damaged bone with bone forceps. We can tamponate with a piece of muscle. We can apply tampons with a hot saline for increasing the coagulation. Different methods. In majority of cases, we find tampons to increase the coagulations because bleeding is not profuse. In this case, it's always venous bleeding. It's not so profuse as arterial bleeding. After this, what we should do? In case of the dura mater damaged, we should make surgery, plastic surgery. We can make plastic surgery. We can apply sutures in case of small damages, or we can apply a tamponade. What does it mean, tamponade? Tamponade shown on this picture is just introducing the tampons between the venous, between the venous sinus and the bone to the epidural space. These tampons are squeezing the venous sinus and stopping the bleeding. And the sutures plastic surgery is, as all plastic surgery, just covering the damaged part of the dura mater to stop the bleeding from it. Features of the temporal region. If you take a look on the temporal region, there is a differences. What is the basic difference? I will not describe all of this. I just stopped it to the main. First of all, there are many fatty spaces here because temporal aponeurosis splitting to attach the zygomatic arc. And between the splitting, we have a cellular space. And also here the temporal region, we have a temporal muscle. So, in comparison with the frontoparieto-occipital region, there are no muscular layers, there are only aponeurotic layers. And in the temporal region, you have a aponeurotic layer and muscular layer, both of them. And also very important thing, if you compare the squama of the temporal bone, comparison is a frontal bone, parietal bone, occipital bone, a very thin layer of deep layer in the temporal bone. Almost absence of a deep layer here. That's why the squama of the temporal bone is very fragile. And in case of traumas in the temporal region, it could be damaging all the arteries with the sharp margins of the splinters of this bone, and will be intracranial bleeding. Very, very dangerous statement. It leads to death of the patient if we not stop this bleeding. And to stop this bleeding, imagine it is intracranial, inside the skull. We need to apply a trepanation to stop this bleeding. Okay? Till the next time.